Hello, it's Matthew David Hurtado, the Minister of Allowing, and you can see I am in my lab. See around me? This is my 2,000 square foot lab I've got upstairs, downstairs. You can see those posters on the wall. Those are all cheat sheet notes, and I've got the whiteboards. Basically, this is my think tank. This is where I do all of my research and all of my content producing. Just kidding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the top 10 healing modalities for emotional stuck places, okay, that I've discovered along my healing journey over 12,000 hours, okay? At one point, I was bedridden and bankrupt. I had Lyme disease. It was the most painful experience of my life, and I got through that place to a position of, creating 6- and 7-figure incomes and perfect well-being. So part of that, a significant part of that, is learning how to navigate the daily emotional upsets and things that happen along the way. I'm going to give you an oversimplified version of why it's so important to learn how to manage your emotional state. Then I'm going to give you the top 10. And I think you'll find it valuable because I'm going to give you a little demonstration of each one to show you the power of it so you can decide which one you like the best. And then you can delve into it and become a master of it and have it in your toolkit, something that you'll want to have. At least 2 or more modalities that you can use, because if you can operate you at the highest level, you can have the best life possible. And emotions are critical. I'll show you why. Here's the demonstration, the short version. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. See, that's the truth in plain sight, where nobody will ever recognize it, because all of the people who run the world, the engineers of the matrix, if you will, they put everything in children's books because they want to program you from the beginning. So row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. See, the stream of consciousness, gentle is the way to do it, because the way of peace is the way of God. Be still and know that I'm God. Rowing your boat. Now, emotion, okay, the word parsed out, parse, syntax, grammar, parse means to break the word apart into the syllables and look at the original root of each syllable so we can realize what we're saying. Emotion is a vowel, beginning with a vowel. So a vowel or a vowel and 2 consonants equals no, no contract. So you have no, no motion. You have no motion, okay? So if you're rowing your boat gently down the stream and you get stuck, you have no motion, okay? So where you're stuck is where your emotions are troubling you, and that's why you get stuck in life. Literally, why you get stuck in life. This is why it's so important to learn. Even the positive, so-called positive emotions we have to learn to release those so we can flow down the stream of life. Because if you hold on to the stream and try to stay locked in at such a positive place, well, what happens is you're still creating resistance, and it will still overtake you at some point. Perfect example of this is when somebody's triggered into a manic episode. Well, manic usually follows depressive because they're one and the same. They're both part of the same constellation of one problem. Now, disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor, and the information here is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not here to heal, prevent, cure, treat, or diagnose a disease. I am a minister, I'm a priest, I'm a reverend, and I am here to minister to you and to give you insight into some tools that I think are the best out there and could benefit your life and are worth looking into. So let's start first with number 10. Number 10 is the emotion code. The emotion code is powerful. It uses magnets. And the magnets are something that you can use over this is like your etheric body. It's like right outside of your skin, like in that realm that's right here. You don't have a physical body, by the way. 99.99997% matter is empty space, according to quantum physics, okay? So what you're doing is you take a magnet and you go over all of these, meridian points. And what you're doing is you're clearing stuck motion. You're clearing it from your meridians, which are basically tied into your chakra systems. So chakra is the science of how energy flows through the meridian hubs in the body. And so the energy, again, rowing your boat gently down the stream. Emotion means no motion, where you're stuck. So you're stuck, you can use a magnet because the body's bioelectric and magnetic is how everything seems to operate in the realm of law of attraction and law of attraction or repulsion, magnetism, that kind of thing. So we clear it using magnets. Now, if you get the book, the emotion code, I believe that's what it's called, you can learn how to do the process and get the chart and the diagram of which emotions are possibly being held on to. Use kinesiology, muscle testing, applied kinesiology to figure out which emotion that is and clear the emotion quite rapidly. Now, again, my order of 10 through 1 may not be your order of 10 through 1. These are my opinions. So number 9 is going to be, let's see, what did I put down for number 9 here? Oh, timeline therapy, TLT. So timeline therapy, I thought was super cool when I learned it. And it's basically moving space, okay? Moving through space and time in order to dissociate from a problem consciousness and to change the physics of the mind quite fast and efficiently. Here's an example. Take yourself into a memory of a recent experience where you felt some turbulence, some problems, some resistance, emotions that were stuck, okay? Now, as you're in that experience, okay, imagine you're on a timeline and this is the present, and here's you in the experience, and you can go all the way back, okay, to the beginning of your birth. So be in the experience, experiencing it right now as it was when you felt it. Now, raise up out of the experience. So raise up out of the experience and look down on it, okay? And then go all the way back to your birth. Go up twice as far. Now, you're imagining this. Go twice as far back, up twice as far, and twice as far back. You're doing that in your consciousness. Now, notice how you dissociated from the very emotion itself. You dissociated. That's how timeline therapy works. Now, what you can do is you can take a power anchor state, and I'll show you how you can do that, and you can overlay. You can overlay with consciousness into this memory right here, okay? Memory, like Memorex. It's stored in your computer, okay? So in the memory where you're having the problem, okay, just close your eyes, follow along with me. I'm using the example in case you're watching later. Float up above the experience now and look down on it. Now go float back all the way back to before you were born. Float twice as far up, twice as far back, twice as far up, and twice as far back. So you're so far up and so far back. Now you feel light, you feel peace, right? So keep this in mind. The peace is the first principle of how you get unstuck in life. So we'll remember that going forward. Now, I want you to recall an experience in your life where you felt really happy, really full of joy. Any experience, feeling happy, full of joy, expressing playfulness. Playfulness seems to be the antidote to all seriousness, all stuck states of emotional problems. So remember a time when you felt really playful. Get into that experience. Now, take that experience of being really playful and just snap it right into the experience of when you felt trouble. Just come all the way back, snap that experience right into that problem consciousness, and take a paint bucket and dump the playfulness energy all through that experience of where you felt emotionally stuck, and paint it colors brighter and louder, turn up the volume on the sounds, and make the picture twice as big. So you just changed the physics of the mind, and you just changed that entire memory. And so by doing that, that's an example of what timeline therapy can do for you. So if you're feeling something as we go forward, then it may be an indicator that it's a good technique for you, okay? Now, number 8 is thought field therapy. The late Dr. Roger Callahan, I was on his client list. I paid $600 an hour to work with him back when I had Lyme disease, and he helped me through a lot of the PTSD that I used to have. I had PTSD very badly and somatization issues. So thought field therapy is acupuncture without the needles. It's tapping. It's taking 2 fingers and tapping certain points of the body to do certain algorithms to release, again, the stuck motion in your energy system where you are being, the flow of life is being stuck, being held up. So he has algorithms in his book. The book is called Tapping the Healer Within, I believe. And he has certain algorithms, certain tapping points. That's what an algorithm is for things like pain, anxiety, trauma, fear, guilt, etc. Some of the common things that people run into day in and day out. So I'll give you an example of a custom algorithm that he gave me when I had trauma. So in a rhythmic fashion, we're going to tap, like very rhythmically, okay? Like Take the rhythm, and I like to take the rhythm. Here's a little secret. Take the rhythm of, like, think of an experience where you felt joy in your life. Joy is the highest vibration. And then tap naturally to the rhythm of what that experience, joy, would have you tap like. Okay? Just tap along to how you feel the joy should be. Okay? Trust your intuition. So now I got the algorithm for a trauma. If I'm in a trauma, this was my algorithm. Tapping at the eyebrow point, thinking of the trauma, tapping at the eyebrow point, tapping at the collarbone point, tapping at the armpit point, tapping at the collarbone point, and tapping on the finger. Okay, now we close it out, tapping at the karate chop point right here, just tapping, same rhythm. Okay, now I'm thinking of the trauma, whatever's bothering me, tapping at the eyebrow right here on the eye, corner of the eye, tapping at the collarbone point, which is right here. Collarbone's right there, about an inch in. Collarbone point. Okay, follow the breast line to the armpit right in the middle, tapping on that point. Okay. We can tap at the collarbone again, tap at the collarbone, tap at the finger. Okay, so that's an algorithm, opening and closing it. Very simple. So if you want to find out if it'll work for you, then you can look at the book, try the tapping techniques for whatever is keeping you stuck. And if it works for you, it's fantastic because it's lightning fast. Okay, lightning fast. Now, next we have, let's see, number 7 is the healing codes. The healing codes, Dr. Alex Lloyd created this. Okay, a friend of mine, Lori Rivers, is a practitioner. And when I met Lori Rivers, she had a story that she was telling on YouTube about her experience. She was bedridden with chronic fatigue syndrome. And this was almost 3 years long. And nothing was helping her. And she learned how to release emotional stuff using the healing code. And the healing code is something that I found very fascinating because it's based on visualization and using an antidote statement to, whatever the problem seems to be. So for instance, let's say, I have, this problem in my life. Somebody's in a bad relationship with me. Somebody's really mean to me, right? Well, an antidote statement to that would be, everywhere I go, I'm celebrating. Okay. I come up with a truth statement that counteracts that lie or that opinion, like somebody's really mean to me, right? Well, a true statement would be, everywhere I go, I'm celebrating. So the whole premise of the basic setup, and you can read the book, The Healing Codes, to learn this basic setup, is that you have these points. You have a point right here between the eyebrows, the third eye, the third eye. Then you have the throat right here, the Adam's apple. Then you have the jawbone right here. And then you have the temples. Okay, so you have here, 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 and here. Now what we're going to do is exactly like what it looks like, is take your fingers, imagine like little flashlights coming out of your fingers. Now as you meditate on the truth statement, you're going to shine this flashlight into these areas and imagine that it's going into a fuse box. So a fuse box here, 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 and here. So we shine the flashlights for 30 seconds on each fuse box in this sequence. Here, 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 and here, and repeat for 6 to 8 minutes while we're focusing on that truth statement. How does it work? I have no clue. I have no clue, but it's worked for many, many people, including Dr. Ben Johnson, who overcame Lou Gehrig's disease, which, according to medical science, is completely incurable. So you tell me. I loved doing it. I liked it. And for me, it comes in at number 7, and it's definitely worth learning. So number 6 is EFT. EFT came after TFT, and EFT is a general sequence, not the custom algorithms that Dr. Roger Callahan gave, but EFT was a general sequence to use called tapping, emotional freedom technique, tapping, and it can help you resolve stuck emotions quite rapidly. So I'll give you the basic generalized technique, and I'll take you through a rhythm and a process, and I'll give you an example of how I used it. So my good friend, Brittany Watkins, who's the #1 emotional eating expert in the country, uses tapping on a lot of emotional eating problems. And since I have a history of that, I overcame eating disorders when I was younger because I was a bodybuilder, and I overcame those. But I had this lingering obsession with peanut butter for a long time. Like I would literally scoop it out with tablespoons and just devour it constantly. And so I said, Brittany, what do I do? And she says, okay, go get the peanut butter. So I grabbed the peanut butter. Imagine this is my peanut butter. She's like, take off the lid. She's like, smell it. So I smelled it. So what I'm doing is I'm getting into the problem, right? And we're bringing the problem to our awareness. So I'm smelling the peanut butter. She goes, now push it away. You can't have it. Push it away. So I pushed it away. I put it down. And then in that place of want, okay, she's like, what comes to mind? What is it that you're wanting for? What comes to mind? And I said, it's my grandma's love. And she said, yes, it's your grandma's love. See, we remember things from our cellular memory when we were young. So when I was young, my grandma and grandpa raised me, and peanut butter represented grandma's love to me. So that's why I was so addicted to it, because an addiction is longing for a false god, for a false idol. I'm longing for something in a false sense. So I'm looking for love in all the wrong places, including a jar of peanut butter. Now, what I do is I tap on that. So to tap on it, we use the karate chop point first. So think of any problem you're having, just bring it to your awareness. Okay, and if you have it around, like if it's a substance, then do exactly what I just did. Get smelling it, get your sensations wrapped around it, and push it away, as in I can't have it. Now you can do this with a lover too. People are addicted to lovers all the time. Codependent relationships are all filled with this. So get into the feeling of it. You know, if you have a garment of theirs around, like that you can smell their shirt or something, then push it away. You can't have it no more. Now ask yourself, what comes to mind? Why do you feel so much want? Want equals lack, okay? That's your stuck motion. That's no motion. That's where you're being held up. Okay, so what you do is even though, then state the problem. Even though this, state the problem, like even though this addiction to peanut butter for me, I love, accept, and forgive myself. Do it 3 times. Even though this addiction to peanut butter, love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though this addiction to peanut butter, love, accept, and forgive myself. Now, what we do is we tap around the top of the head like this. This peanut butter, I'm thinking of the addiction. This peanut butter, think of the problem. Tap here. Remember the rhythm, okay? Tap here on the eyebrow point, right here in the inside of the eye. Tap the outer edge of the eye about 5 to 10 times. Tap here under the eye. Tap under the nose. Tap right here on the chin. Now get that collarbone point again. Okay, now follow the breast line under the arm. Tap in the armpit, right in the groove there. Okay. Now, that's the basic sequence. Now we have to close it. So we're going to tap here again. Now what we're going to say is, I'm letting go of this, whatever your problem is. It is safe to let it go now. I'm releasing it now. It is safe to let go of this problem. I'm letting it go now. Completely letting it go. I am safe. I am free to let it go. Releasing it now. Letting go of this problem now. Releasing it now. Okay? Then we grab the wrist, take a deep breath, and blow it out. So that's the basics of tapping. So if that works for you, then use it, learn it. I found it to be very valuable. So the next one on the list is going to number 5, would be the Sedona Method. So number 5 is Sedona Method. Number 4 is Release Technique. Now here's why. They're pretty much the same exact thing, taught by the same person, Lester Levinson, but the 2 different styles, one is Hale Dalskin, I think. I'm sorry, I pronounced his name probably wrong. The other one's Larry Crane. I prefer Larry Crane's just a little better, personal preference, okay? Now, this is very, very powerful. In fact, a component of this is what I used in a process I'll tell you about higher up in my lesson here. So releasing is so key. Now, the backstory is, I'll give you the quick backstory. It's important that you know this because I want you to see this for yourself. So Lester Levinson was in his late 40s and experiencing, I think, his 2nd heart attack, and he was sent home to die. They said, you're too weak, your heart's completely done. If you bend over, tie your shoes, it's probably the end. It's over. And so he went home and he said, man, for such an educated guy, you sure are stupid, Lester, because he realized what situation he was in. So as he was at home, he had this revelation. He was reflecting on his life, and he realized that every time he was sick, every time he was wanting something, want want, want. He was wanting for something. Want means lack. If I want something, it means I'm putting out the energetic vibration of lack, which means I am resisting the very thing that I say I'm wanting. That's how the human mind works. Okay? Now, want equals lack. So every time he wanted, he lacked, and therefore he created disease in his life. And you realize there's only 3 different wants: wanting to be safe, wanting approval, or wanting control. Safety, approval, and control. So he broke every problem down into wanting safety, approval, or control and released on it. So powerful, so powerful. So I'll give you an example. Think of an area that you want to have control in your life right now, because control issues are so common, it's ridiculous. Like, we want to control everything. That's why we overthink everything. So think of an area where you really are trying to gain control in your life. In other words, where are you thinking of trying to solve a problem constantly? Think of a problem that you're constantly trying to solve, because that's where you're wanting control. Okay? Now, just follow along with me. Could you let go of wanting control in order to have control? Yes or no? Just answer. Okay, could you let go even more wanting to have control in order to have control? When? Now? When? Good. So could you let go even more wanting control in order to have control? Yes or no? And could you let go even more wanting control to have control? When? What feels better, wanting control or having control? So could you let go even more wanting control to have control? And could you let go even more wanting control to have control? Do you feel like you have control, or do you still lack control? If you feel like you have control, could you let it expand? Now, if you follow that process, you may be feeling lighter by now. That's what releasing feels like. You're letting go of your resistance as you're floating down the stream. In other words, you're allowing the flow, the currency of life, to carry you along again. Okay? You're letting go of your resistance. It's very powerful. I love the technique. I absolutely do. And I took a part of it, and I'm going to tell you about that in just a minute. So in number 3, this is where I'm going to tell you about the ABC break process. This is something I discovered in my number 1 best-selling book, the first one that I put out in 2015. Now, the ABC break process is what I used when I was going from bedridden and bankrupt with Lyme disease, okay, living in a house with box elder bugs crawling all over the place, an abandoned farmhouse, in the middle of nowhere, an hour and a half from society, where I had no job, no friends, no money, no hope. I couldn't even physically function. I laid in bed most of the day. I was 150 pounds, dying with Lyme disease. I know what it's like to emotionally suffer. So this process came to me, and I started to use it several times a day, because it works on many levels. Puts you in the solution, and it puts you into biblical principles that allow you to gain your power back, okay? And I was able to build myself out of that to a 6-figure and then a 7-figure income and to perfect health, because all power flows, okay, when we don't get in the way. So we have to get our human erring logic, our reasoning, our resistance out of the equation and come into a solution. So the ABC break process gives you access to a solution consciousness. In other words, in the having consciousness instead of the wanting consciousness. Okay, so here's the components of it. You come into a place of releasing, then a place of peace, then a place of solution consciousness, activate a new vibration, fire off a solution, and step into the solution. I can't teach it to you right here. I want you to learn it for yourself. It's on my YouTube channel. You can learn how to do the ABC break process, or MatthewDavidHurtado.com. If you go there, you get a free copy of my book. Read the book, learn the book right to your smartphone. You can have it right now if you text the word allow, okay? That's what this is all about, allowing, to the number on the screen, area code 608-530-6658. Learn the ABC break process. Thousands of people all over the world are using this process. It is the creme de la creme, in my opinion, for the simplest way to do it without the training that I'm going to tell you about in number 1. So that is the process that is my go-to 90% of the time. 90% of the time, I use the ABC break process because it is so efficient, so fast, and it covers many bases. It puts a lot of these all together in a streamlined process. And it gives you solution consciousness, which is so important. It takes you to the other side of the problem where you can see what's missing. Now, number 2 is called havening. Havening is miraculous. Havening was just recently created, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years, I don't know. It's very recent, and it's designed for like trauma, things of that nature. And so what I use havening for is when I really get stuck in a real jam where it's really complicated, my emotions are really holding me up. Havening is so powerful. I'm going to show you how to use havening. I'm going to take you through it right now. I'm going to teach it to you right now the way that I know how to do it. Okay, so first what I want you to do, I want you to think of anything that's bothering you in your life right now, and then rate it on a scale of 0 to 10. Okay, now I want you to just follow along with me. The whole time I want you to do this. Okay, like when you were little and mom held you. Okay, this is reactivating that part of the brain. Okay, so just keep doing this, nice and rhythmic. Again, just stroke the sides of your arms. Don't stop doing that no matter what. Now what I want you to do is keep your head straight. Don't ever turn your head. Don't put it down. Don't put it up. Just keep it just like this. Okay? You're going to close your eyes and you're going to count out loud with me and visualize what I tell you to visualize. So close your eyes. We're going to visualize walking on a warm sandy beach by the ocean. Okay? Now count along with me as we take the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Keep stroking your arms, open your eyes, don't turn your head, keep it straight, but I want you to look to the right, all the way to the right, look all the way to the left, look all the way to the right, look all the way to the left. Okay, now close your eyes again. Now we're going to count out loud in a moment, but we're going to visualize ourselves walking down a flight of stairs. So as you're walking down the stairs, count out loud with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now open your eyes. Okay, keep your head straight. Don't stop doing this. Keep doing this. Okay, look to the right, look to the left, look to the right, look to the left. Okay, now stop doing this. Take a deep breath and blow it out. Okay, so from 0 to 10, did the emotion shift? Is it better? Now, if it worked for you, this is a very, very powerful way that I've discovered for me that helps me get through really powerful, for very acute situations that are very, rare occurring, but they're very acute. Okay, that's what I use it for. Now, number 1 is called the self-entrainment technique. This is something that I created as a hybrid from a technique that I learned a long time ago that is infinitely more powerful than anything I've ever discovered. And if you go to allowuniversity.com, you can see some of the testimonials from people who are using it. I teach it at my workshop, the Spiritual Millionaire Workshop. And it's something that is an impartation. You learn how to do it. And the power behind it is that you are activating your physiology. You're activating new neural pathways. And literally, you can change your state of being in seconds, minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes days at most that I've discovered. But you can activate a new frequency, a new vibrational set point. So if you understand the mechanics of how the universe works, is that as within, so without, as within, so without, we project our universe, okay? That's how the law of attraction works. But it's based on the quality of the seed that we plant. Seed time, harvest time is a universal biblical principle. What you sow is what you reap. Everybody knows that, right? Well, everything behind what you sow has a certain attribute of frequency or vibration. It has a set point that it functions from. So when you pour forth out of that set point, that quality of the seed is what comes back. So what I found is being able to measure and scale and raise frequency to a higher level is living at a higher level quite substantially. So that's something I learned along the journey, and that has been the most effective, most powerful technique that I've ever discovered. Now, I may be tooting my own horn, I may be promoting to you, and yes, I am promoting it to you because I think it's the best investment I ever personally made, learning the strategy to put it together, okay? But I also want to let you know that it's available. If you want to look into it, go to the website, check it out. So that's my top 10, going all the way from 10 to 1, and maybe not in that order for certain people. Some people may say, hey, wait, this is my favorite one. Why is that number 1? Okay. Or, hey, you left this one off the list. Well, it just didn't make my list, perhaps. Maybe I don't even know about it, but I did spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and over 12,000 hours along my journey going through my healing process. And so what I bring you here with this list is something that I've discovered in my path. And if you're new to a lot of this, then I hope to shave off a lot of your learning curve, because if you are going with the stream of life and you get no motion, which is what emotion means, no motion, as in you can't move forward because you're stuck, then any one of these or a combination of these may have the ability, like they have for me and tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of others, to move forward and to get what you want in life. Because what you want in life is always a feeling place. Again, what you want in life is always a feeling place first, and then the demonstration of that vibration as you reveal in consciousness what you are. We only step into more of ourselves. That's what the unknown is. We step into more of ourselves. And so getting unstuck is critically important. And emotions are a very, very easy way to dial in and get yourself unstuck from that level. I find it to be a lot more efficient than using the logical reasoning mind and playing with all these ideas and beliefs in the mind. See, playing with your mind to me is futile because the steering wheel of the mind is not even hooked up to the car, okay? But the universal language of emotion transcends all human languages. So in other words, everybody on the world babbles one language or the other, but the emotions are universally felt amongst all of God's creatures. So we speak that language so loudly that it doesn't matter what you're babbling. So learn how to master the language of emotions and get the tools, and you will gain incredible leverage in your process of ascension or transformation, whatever you're working on. So that's all I wanted to share with you. God bless you, and hope you like it.